So these are the 3 podcasts you have to listen to, especially if you're looking to take bigger risks in your career or you're doing something a little bit more atypical. Couldn't recommend these more highly. I've listened to virtually every episode. So the first is My First Million, and despite the name, it actually talks more about interesting business trends that people can start companies from. They interview really interesting people who've built companies in their own way through a non-linear career path. They talk about a lot of different companies in depth, ranging from successful venture-backed businesses all the way to kind of bootstrapped, very niche businesses you never would have heard of. I take a lot of inspiration from this podcast, even though I'm building my own company, but especially if you're looking to start one and are lacking ideas, this is an amazing one to learn from. The second is a podcast called The Happiness Lab, and this actually came out in 2018. And I think that just speaks to how old I am, but also how impactful this has been because I still reference this podcast all the time. The Happiness Lab was actually created by Professor Laurie Santos from Yale, modeling it after her hit class all about happiness. And the reason I love this podcast so much is that it breaks down happiness, the psychology behind it, and has so many practical takeaways. And I'd say happiness in this case covers authenticity, value alignment, feeling fulfilled. I love it. The last is a podcast that I am devastated they do not make anymore, and I'm actually shocked it did not get nearly as much hype as I think it deserved, and it's called Without Fail. It basically interviews entrepreneurs, artists, restaurateurs, athletes, etc., not about their biggest successes that everyone knows them for, certainly those come up in conversation, but they actually talk about their biggest failures. And the reason why I love this so much is having worked in venture capital and seen kind of media, companies, the behind the scenes, it's so interesting that when a company or person is successful, a lot of stuff is rewritten in history to kind of sound very linear and, like it's been kind of written in the stars that this person's going to be successful. But what you don't see and what I think is the most interesting are the true ups and downs of all of these entrepreneurial journeys. And I love that Without Fail really focused on not the highs, but really kind of the authentic lows.